Okay, this is video number 7. Alright, working on the truck. Still working on her. Okay. Gonna do the plugs and wires. Pressure check. See what kind of health we got our engine in. See what kind of, excuse me, what kind of health we got. Meanwhile, I've been working on another project. I have another video. I have some more videos on that. I'll show you what we're doing. And we're gonna continue with our truck, of course. We're working on this. Like I said, I have another video if you're interested in this. It's a 2006 Expedition 80 Bauer edition. We wrecked it. That's actually the bumper. We had to cut in pieces to get it off. These are all the parts. That's the bumper cover. Pieces, parts. And we pulled off. Headlights. We put new headlights. Those are still good, or the bulbs are good anyway. It's just while we working on the front end, we decided to go ahead and just change the lights too. Okay, but this is in another video, like I said. I just got sidetracked with this car. As you see, we got most of it done. Still got to paint it. Still got some other things to do to it. We're gonna paint it in the other video. It's on my channel. How to change the front end on a Ford 2006 Expedition 80 Bauer edition. We have the grill. I'm gonna paint it first before putting the grill on. So we're gonna go to the paint shop and go get some paint. But anyway, that's sidetracked us. But we're still working on the old truck now. Still working on that truck. See it over there? Still working on it. And kind of got us pulled off of it for a little bit, but we're going back to it. Okay, we got a compression gauge. And we're fixing to start on we're on the left side of the engine, the driver's side of the engine. Number 1 is the first plug. And like I said before, I take my 2 longest wires. Okay, it's gonna be number 1. It's gonna be number 1 and number 2. Okay. We're right here on number 1, which is the first cylinder here. Firing order is 18436572. Okay. And this pretty much shows you how the firing order goes. And so we're gonna pull plug number 1, and then we're going to check the compression, and then we're going to change the wire. Okay. These are our wire pliers. Really like these pliers. They really work good. So what you do is it reaches down. See, this is number 1 right here. Okay. You can reach it and grab a boot and pull the wire off without pulling the boot apart. Okay. Well, sure, I can't really do it with one hand. Let me shut the video off, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull number 1 and see what kind of compression we have. Of course, we're going to screw our compression gauge into the cylinder, into number 1 cylinder. Okay. Okay, we're gonna take our compression chest. All right, we got a thing marked at about 150. Okay, we're gonna go over 150 per cylinder. Okay, so what we did, all right, we pulled number 1 cylinder. Remember, we have Remember I said the two longest wires, 1 and 2. Okay. Number 1 is here, over in the front on the driver's side. Number 2 is over there. That's the longest wires. So anyway, want our compression to be from 150 to 175, at least somewhere in that range. Okay. Plugs are set at 0.60, 60,000. All right. We have number 1 plug pulled. We have the gauge in number 1. Okay, we're going to come over here. We're going to disconnect. Okay, the fuel pump regulator. A relay, I'm sorry. We're going to pull the relay. Okay. Pull that out. All right. We're going to set this aside. All right, so now the fuel pump won't turn on. Now we want to stop the spark. Okay, so we're going to go to our distributor. Okay, to our coil, I should say. And here's the coil wire. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to pull that coil wire. All right, that's the wire going to the coil. All right. Now we can't get fire, and we're not going to have fuel. The noise you hear is the battery charger. Okay. Now with everything pulled, okay, see, nothing in the way of our fan blade. Now what we're going to do, we're going to crank the engine. Now you want it to go to the highest point. It's going to go up like this while the compression's hitting. Now I don't have a remote starter, and these that's the old school, which probably wouldn't even work on this. So I'm going to crank the ignition, crank the truck. Like I said, fuel is disconnected, fire is disconnected. All right. I'm going to crank it a bit to ensure that it's going to go all the way to as high as it's going to go. Okay. Well, we got the battery charger connected. All right. Oh, it's way up there. Looks like it's 190. Yeah, it went all the way to 190. That's very healthy engine. That's a lot of compression. All right. We're going to come over here and we're going to write. I wrote 190, 85, 190. A lot of compression. That looks good. Okay, 190. Now we're going to do that for each cylinder. Now the most, if you have a low cylinder, you want it no more down than 15%, 10 to 15%. 15% would be, 10% would be better, of course. So that's the number 1 cylinder. So now, what we're going to do is, we're going to go back. See what we're going to do, keep from dropping something into our fuse box. We're just going to put our relay aside and connect our cover back on. It's not going to hurt to put the cover back on. All right. Then we'll use our little tool here. This tool we use to pull the plug wire off. Okay. So now we're going to put the plug back in. We're going to put a new plug. All right. Here's our new plug. And they're set at 60 thousandths. Now I use this little feeler gauge here. Okay, that plug is already gapped. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and install that plug. That cylinder looks good. Okay? That's where we are. That's how you do it. How you do a compression check. That's good. That's unbelievable reading. And then you got a little bleed thing here. If you want, when you bleed, you can bleed it off. Just press this little button, and it takes the compression off the cylinder. Okay. Now I'm going to remove this, put my plug in, and go to another cylinder. Okay, what we're going to do, we're on the driver's side. We're going to check these 4 cylinders first, the compression. We're not going to fool with the wires because then we're going to be going back and forth all over the place with the wires. Now the way the wires are in the loom, might be hard to see, but the way the wires are, the loom separates them. There's some holders in there that separate them. So we're just going to leave the plug wires unplugged. Okay. And we're going to do this side. And then we're going to do compression check on the other side. Then we're going to do the wires. After all the after compression check's done and all the plugs are changed. Okay, so that's where we are. So we're going to pull the gauge and put number 1 plug, the new plug, back in. And then we're going to go to the next one. The next one is actually number 7. I'm telling you wrong. It's number 3. Okay, sorry about that. The next cylinder back is number 3, so we're going to the 3rd cylinder. Number 3, I should say. Okay, we're going to the 2nd cylinder on the driver's side back, which is, like we said before, this is cylinder number 3. Okay. Okay. Okay, cylinder number 3. $190. Same as the other one, $190. Okay. Then when you put your gauge in, you just want to put it hand tight. You don't want to put a wrench on it. It's got an O-ring on it, and it'll seal it off. Now this is cylinder number 3, which is the 2nd one back, right here. And we're going to call this one, same as the first one, 190. Looking good. All right, we're going to take the gauge off, gap the plug, and then we're going to put the plug is at 60 thousandths. We're going to put the new plug in. Okay, this is the 3rd cylinder back on the driver's side, which is cylinder number 5. It's almost 190. It's a little over 185. Okay, which is good. So we're going to put it at 185. It's actually just a little bit more. So we're going to call it 185 plus. All right. I'm going to gap the plug, put it in, and we're going to go to cylinder number 7. Okay, this is the last cylinder in the back on the driver's side. Cylinder number 7. It's 195, looks like. Yeah, 195. That's way up there. Okay, looking good. We're going to come over here. All right. 195. On cylinder number 7. Okay, this completes this side. 190, 190, 185 plus, so it's almost 190. 195. This one's way up. Okay. Oh, there goes my paper. Remember, this truck hasn't run in 10 years, so. What I'm going to do, depending on what we get on the other side, I'm just going to run the truck and then either not worry about the compression check or take it again after it's run a while. Okay. So next we're going to go to the other side and we're going to start with the number 2. That's the furthest cylinder on the passenger side all the way to the front. Okay, but we're going to gap that plug and put that last plug in. And we're leaving the wires undone. Like I said, we have the looms are holding the wire separator. The looms just snap off. Just got to be careful going back not to mix the wires up. Okay, that's where we are. Everything's looking good so far. This bank is definitely a good bank on this side. Okay, we're on the passenger side. Now this side is actually easier to get to. I'll get my shadow out of the picture. This side is actually, you can see all the plugs. And once you remove all these covers, this side is a lot easier. And I think I can show you how these bars work. Okay, this is number 2 right here. Okay. And all you do, bars rounded on the end, you just grab your boot and you twist it and pull it straight out. See? Easy to pull the boots off. Okay, we're going to do number 2, I should say. We're going to pull the plug and do a compression check. Like I said, it's a lot easier on this side. Although the other side's not that hard. Okay, that's where we're at. Okay, we pull the first cylinder on the passenger side to the front, which is number 2. Okay. And we're sitting at, I'll be able to read it. It's at 190. You press this little button here, take the pressure off. Okay. Look good. 190. Oh, we gotta write it down. Well, the wind is flat blowing on here. Okay, this is number 2. I'm gonna write 190. Okay, 190. The wind's blowing, I gotta keep this thing on there and keep it from flying away. Okay, we're gonna gap that plug and we're going to go to the next cylinder. Okay, which is number 4. Okay, on the other side, I needed the swivel added to my arsenal, added to my tools. Not some of it. Actually, swivel extension. Plug socket with the rubber in it, so you still hold the plug. Okay, this is actually a snap-on tool. Snap-on. Very expensive for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it up. And we're gonna go to the next cylinder, like I said. That's next cylinder is number 4. All right, we're looking good so far. Okay, this is the second cylinder back. This is cylinder number 4. We're looking at 190. That's looking good, 190. We just press the little valve. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to gap the plug again and put that in there. One thing I want to say about your little gauge, when you're putting it in, you see it in the cylinder down there? You see the brass right there? Okay. When you have to turn the whole gauge. So you turn the gauge, you hold it here, you turn the gauge and put it in. You just put it hand tight. Don't try to put it too tight. You don't want to put a wrench on anything. Okay? So far we hadn't used the swivel, the extra swivel. On this side, I don't think I'm going to need it. As you can see, those plugs are right there.
maybe it's all the way in the back, I don't know. Oh, that's it. What we said, 190?
Got to write it down. Got to write that down. Okay, the second cylinder back, 190. Okay, 190. Another thing, see this WD-40? I spray just a hair, just a little bit of it, on the threads when I'm going back with my new plugs. Not a lot, just a little bit, and it makes it go in easier. All right, okay. All right, just a little tip there. Okay, this is the third one back, which is number 6. Okay, you can see. Third one back. Got one more after this one. Okay, see that? Might be able to see it with the sun. Get it in the shade. 190. Right on 190. Ooh, that's a good cylinder. Looking good. 190. What's surprising? This engine had running 10 years. But it's a fairly new engine, so. Okay, what we're going to do is, like I said before, we're going to gap the plug. Put the plug in there. Relieve the pressure off our gauge. Okay. We got one more cylinder to check. Almost forgot to write our 190 down on cylinder number 6. 190. Okay. Number 8 is left. One more to go. Okay, this is the last cylinder all in the back, number 8. When we started with number 1, we ended up with number 8 as the last one. Excuse me. This is our last cylinder, number 8. And if we can read it, but it's 190. This engine is really good. This is like a brand new engine. I can't believe the compression on this thing. After sitting for 10 years. Like I said, this engine only has, I think, 59,500 miles on it, on the actual engine. It was GM rebuilt. Okay. If you go back and look at some of my first videos I made on this truck, it's either video 1 or 2, one of those videos, showed how I pulled all the plugs and what I did to ensure, before turning the engine over, to ensure nothing was froze up. So now the engine still hasn't run, other than 3 seconds of, just a few seconds, as you saw in the video. And she's really strong. So I'd say we got a good strong engine, 190. Okay, let's look it over. Okay, 190, cylinder number 8, 190. Okay, this whole bank on this side, I don't know if this is coming out. This is the sun. This whole bank on the passenger side is 190, exactly 190, the whole bank. Now the other side, 190, 190, 185 plus, and 195. For some reason, number 7 cylinder has more compression than the rest of them. To be good, you need between 150 and 175 on this particular engine. This is a 5.7 Vortec. Okay, we're well over the 175. So everything looks good. We won't have to do anything as far as any more compression checks. I don't think once it's running, I'm not gonna worry about it. It's got real good compression. So compression is not our problem. But we needed to do this anyway. We wanted to do it, I should say. Okay. We wanted to check our compression. Okay, now we're gonna change the wires. Now, the wires shouldn't be too hard to change. We just gotta watch that we don't mix them up. Okay. Now I doubt if it's gonna start after that. Like I said, we're going to it's got a scan tool. I gotta study that thing and get it on my phone
and run a scan on it. And that scan should tell us what's going on. Okay? So we're going to put this thing back together. We're going to put the plug in, and then we're going to start on the wires. Right now it's tea time. It's 10 after 3. I'm like a Brit when it comes to tea. I like my tea. I drink tea every afternoon at 3 o'clock. Tea and a cookie or a brownie. Of course, no sugar. Something like that. And I'll drink my little cup of tea. A spot of tea. All right. I'm going to drink my tea and we're going to come back and pull the wires.
Okay. Now our compression check is completed. And really come out good. Way more than I expected. Alright, like I said, that engine hadn't run more than a couple of seconds each time in 10 years. And the compression is unbelievably good, like I showed you. Now, when you're doing your compression check, when you're doing your compression check, okay, remember this side was all 190, 190, 190, 190, okay? This side was 190, 190, 185 plus 195. Okay, when you do your compression check, you take your one that's the highest, the largest one, and you take the one that's the lowest. Now our highest is 195 and our lowest is 185 plus. And they happen to be together, number 5 and number 7. All the rest of them are 190. Okay, but anyway, you take these two. Now you're allowed, between your highest and your lowest, you're allowed 10 to 15%. Okay? You're allowed 10 to 15% difference between the two. Okay? So we took our lowest, 189 plus, and 185 plus, and we took our highest, which was 195 plus, 195, and the difference between them is 3%. Okay, and you allowed up to 15% actually. 10% is what you would actually want. You prefer, but you can stretch it to 15%. In our case, we only have 3% difference, so we're real good. So whenever you do your compression check, okay, now we didn't have to do this when I'm fixing to tell you, but let's say you have one cylinder that's low. Now, the two things can cause these things, your cylinder not to be up to standard. All right, one is the valve, leaking the valve. Okay. The other one is the rings, the piston rings. Okay. Now, the valves, of course, are in the head, and the piston rings are in the block. And the way you tell the difference is, let's say we had a cylinder that was 100. All right, so there's a problem with that cylinder. It's way down. So through the spark plug hole, we put some oil. Okay. We shoot some Marlboro mystery oil or some kind of oil, motor oil, any kind of oil. We put it in there. We put our plug back in the cylinder. Okay. And then we do another compression check. If it goes up, okay, the problem is the rings. Because the oil will seal the rings. If you follow me. The oil will seal the rings and cause your compression to come back up. So that would tell you that the rings are bad in that cylinder. If you put oil and do a compression check and it stays the same, okay, it's something else. Okay, it could be the head gasket. Okay, it could be the valves. Okay, so that cylinder is leaking down, and if you put oil, like I said, it's not the ring, so it's somewhere else. Okay, it's in the head or the head gasket. Either way, you got to pull the head to find out what the problem. You pull the head and you find out it's a busted, blown head gasket. I've done this before, and it was a blown head gasket in another engine, in a 6-cylinder engine. We had a blown head gasket. It wasn't blown bad, but it was enough to, in that one cylinder, to cause that cylinder to not have compression, and it ran bad. So we pulled the head, we changed the head gasket, put it back together, and it was good to go. And we didn't have to take the head to the head shop or rebuild the head or do anything like that. So anyway, compression check can tell you a lot about the health of your engine. And we're lucky, this is a 5.7 Chevrolet engine. We're lucky that we got real high compression. So the engine's very healthy. All right, that's how we do it here. How we did a compression check on our 5.7 Vortec Chevrolet engine. 1998.